Hello! Today we're going to be looking at the factory pattern. The factory pattern solves the problem of object creation without specifying which class you want to create. This allows for flexibility and decoupling of object instantiation. So if we jump into the project, I've got the application up and running on the web server, and we can open it up here. And as you can see, I've created a new branch and called it factory pattern feature. Now, let's jump in. So what we need to do inside of our service directory, in here we're going to create a payment processor factory, like so. And then inside of here we need a contract, like that. You don't necessarily have to do this, however, this is just how I like to organize my code. Payment processor interface, like so. And inside of here, we are going to have one method, and we're going to call it process. And this will accept a float of amount. Now, inside of here, what you would normally do is you might pass in an object and have other bits of information that you might need. For example, you might need currency, you might need the amount, you might need some other stuff about the order as well. And this will return a string in this situation. It probably wouldn't in a real world application. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so moving on. Now we need to create the payment types. So let's call it payment types, like so. And inside of here we'll have a card type. Let's just call it card payment, like that. Actually, I'm going to rename this and just call it payment. And then inside of here we will also have a PayPal. And lastly we'll have crypto. Right, so now we've got those things in there. So now we need to implement the interface that we just created. So this will be a payment processor interface, and we can add the method stubs like so. And in here we will just return processing via card payment, like so. And we need to do that for essentially all of the others. Okay, good. And now we just need to create the actual factory. So the payment factory. We'll quickly create an enum for the different payment types. So we'll call it a payment type enum, like so. And this will be a backed one. So it'll be a return a string. We'll have case card payment, and that'll be a card payment, like so. And then we'll have what were the other ones, like so. Okay, so if we head back to our payment factory, we can mark this as final because it won't be extended. And we'll have one method in here which will be create processor, like so. And this will return a factory, an interface, which was a payment processor interface, like so. And this method will accept the enum that we just created. So let's say the payment type enum, which will be a payment type, like so. And then inside of here we create a match statement which will accept that enum. And in here we can say the different types of the enum. So for example, if it's a card payment, then we want to create a new card payment, like so, and so on and so forth. And inside of here we also want to have a default in case for whatever reason this doesn't happen, which I think is impossible, but just in case, we can throw a new invalid argument exception. As we can see here, it says the condition is never matched, so we can actually remove that. But we'll leave it in there because, you know, if you're not using an enum, then you can use that. So how can we use this? So now we need to create a payment controller, like so, and it will extend the abstract controller, and I'm just going to quickly copy the route from here because we already have that. There we go. Okay, so this will be the factory design pattern. Here we can just have payment and payment, like so, and we'll get rid of this stuff from the previous video. Okay, so how can we actually use this? So what we need to do inside of here is we need to inject the factory that we just created. So this will be read-only, and we will inject the payment factory, like so. Let's just name it the payment factory. So inside of here we can create a new variable called payment processor, and this will equal the payment factory create processor. But now we can say which type of payment type that we want to send in using the enum. So we can say card payment, like so. And now we can create another one called payment, and we can say payment processor process, and now we can tell it the amount that we want to process, and we can just dump out the message here. Okay, so if we head over to the application and we go to /payment, and there we go, it says we're processing via card payment, which is correct. And if we change here and change it to crypto payment, go back to the application, refresh, then we're processing via crypto payment. And finally, just why not, we can also process it by PayPal. So you can imagine how this could work. We could get this information from a form and then process the payment as needed. And that's how we can use the factory pattern in Symfony 7.